Welcome to the Hippo CMMS Express Training 2. Here's the agenda for today's training. Training time should take approximately 20 minutes. First, to introduce myself, my name is Mel Motosh, Instructional Design and Developer here at Hippo. Training 2 will cover some of the main features to your Hippo program, including preventative maintenance work orders templates and how to create your own, reports, and user permissions. I'll also point out where you can get access to our Hippo Help Center or contact our support team at any time. So let's get started. Remember, when you first log into Hippo, you typically arrive at the Enterprise screen. On the right-hand side, you'll have a list of your associated facilities. On the right, you'll see an overview box, and it will show you a total of how many open work orders are in your facility. This total comes from two different types of work orders in the Hippo program. Demands are ad hoc or unscheduled work orders. PMs stand for preventative maintenance and are your regularly scheduled work orders. To view these work orders, click on the overview box and drill down to the facility level. Remember, whatever's located on your drop-down list of demands, or when you click on PM, the tickets listed here mean they're open work orders that need to be addressed and carried out. Well, where do all these PMs come from? On the left-hand side, where your main panels are located, click on the Facility Admin panel, then the Scheduled Work Orders panel. This will open up your Scheduled Work Orders grid. This is where you'll add your preventative maintenance details, including a customized schedule date in which you want these tickets to appear. In the top right-hand corner, if you have access to create a new PM, click on the plus button. You have the option of creating a PM from scratch, or you can select a template from the drop-down list. I'll show you this later. This comes in handy if you have preventative maintenance that you want to use this template multiple times or in multiple facilities. First, let's create a PM from scratch. Once I click on the OK button, the top row to your grid will empty out. The first couple of fields are mandatory. All other columns to the right of the grid are optional. The first field of information you'll add is the name of your preventative maintenance. When you click in the column, type in the name of the work order. We suggest what the work order is about - when. Next, click in the Schedule category and associate this preventative maintenance work order to a calendar date or a meter reading. Then you'll associate the type. Remember, this is a common theme in Hippo. All work orders are associated either to equipment, location, or vehicle. If I select equipment, in the next column, the associations column, I'll get a drop-down list of all my assets. This list of information comes from the information that's stored on your equipment grid. You can select one or multiple associations. Click on the name again to remove the check mark. Then click in the description column and add the message that should be passed to the maintenance technician. The last mandatory field would be to associate a work category. This comes in handy to run work order searches or reports on your preventative maintenance tickets. At this point, you can go ahead and save your details, or you can continue to add information to the right of the grid. For example, I can click in the Schedule field and determine exactly when I would like to see this work order appear. When I click on the Add button, the Edit Schedule window opens. This is where you can select which calendar date this ticket will generate. By default, it's set at monthly. You can select the specific day of the month, or you can select a specific day of the week and then determine which month. If it's an annual, select 1 month, semi-annual, quarterlies, or there's an all button for each month. You also have a one-time date option, daily, weekly, or seasonally. Optional to include an end date. If you include an end date, it means you are putting a stop to the generating of this work order. And most clients will leave this blank. You also have an option to send any user that receives a PM notification a reminder. For example, if this is an annual, perhaps I'd like to receive a reminder notice 21 days or hours in advance of this work order. Click Validate to confirm when the scheduling will occur. Confirm with the information at the bottom of the window, then hit OK. You can always go back and edit the scheduling, remove the scheduling date, or add an additional scheduling date to this preventative maintenance work order. Hit OK, and then you can hit Save in the top right corner. Or you can add other details. For example, days to complete. In Hippo, 14 days to complete is the default time. You can always change this number so that you can determine exactly how many days before this work order becomes overdue. Likewise, tasks is another commonly used feature to preventative maintenance. When I click the Add button, I can create a tasks list or checklist. This is extremely useful for a maintenance technician or a resource to observe any specific procedure or process. This checklist will literally have to be checked off before the ticket can be closed or completed. Hit Add to continue your list. Once you're happy with your tasks list, hit OK. When I scroll to the right, again, all of these other columns are optional. For example, estimated effort. This is great to try and keep track of how much time is expected in your preventative maintenance work orders. Later, if you go to the calendar dashboard, it will collect that amount in a monthly, weekly, or daily calculation. Floating is also commonly used. If there's a check in the floating box, it means that the next work order will not generate until the last one has been completed. This is always going to be based on the schedule date. You can hover your mouse over the schedule date to view more details, or open column headers at the top. Generate multiple means that you are creating one work order for each asset. In this example, I have associated 2 assets to this ticket. If I'd like one work order for each asset, I'll select Generate Multiple. Otherwise, both assets would be listed on one work order, all within the same details of this row. When you're happy with all the information in the row, don't forget to hit the Save icon in the top right corner. Your PM will jump into alphabetical order on your list, but when you scroll to the right, you can always view when work orders are last generated or the next scheduled date for the ticket to occur. click on the X button in the top right corner to close this grid. You will not see that work order listed here until that specified date. Remember, you can also use the standard dashboard to view open tickets or anything that needs to be closed out. But when you jump to the calendar dashboard, you can also see what's coming up in advance. Anything that has a gray icon means that it is preventative maintenance that is expected on a particular day. The estimated hours or estimated efforts located here will help you to determine in a monthly, weekly, or daily perspective how much time is expected in that time frame. You can view in advance up until 1 year. Calendar is also great for generating a preventative maintenance work order early. For example, if I have 2 work orders that are open today and I can see that I have several expected to generate tomorrow, I can always click and drag the name of the work order to the present date. That will generate the work order one time early. But notice that I have the PM feature for that particular ticket. The original ticket must be closed before this one can be generated. Closing out the ticket is a similar procedure as the demand work orders. For example, top right corner, you can change the status to the work order. In this case, I can scroll down and also mark additional tasks as completed by clicking on the button next to the name. You can also add comments to each task or files. Any file or image associated, you can simply load here. Any changes you make to a work order, don't forget to hit save. Now, to actually complete the work order, step 1 would be to switch the status to completed. And remember, if the save button on the bottom of the form is grayed out, hover your mouse over it or your cursor and it will tell you the steps still needed. In this case, I'll have to add my resource information, just like a demand work order. I'll click Add, and it allows me to timestamp my interaction with the ticket and how long it took me. Now, if all my tasks have not been crossed off, then the comments field becomes mandatory. This is basically to keep people informed on why specific tasks could not be completed. Notice that my Save button is in blue. I can now add my signature and close the work order. Any work order that's been completed is removed from the list on the right-hand side. Remember, you can use your work order search feature to view completed work orders again. But let's say I want to run a report on all my completed work orders. Click on the Reports panel. If you run a report at the facility level, it means that you are gathering details for this facility alone. Reports are also available at the enterprise level, meaning you can run reports system-wide or for all your facilities. Reports are based on current work orders. Current work orders are work orders that are still considered open or any of the open statuses. Maintenance history is where you'll gather the most information, but that's based on the information that you put on the work orders. For example, I'll select Show Graphs and I'll add a completed time frame. With the Reports feature, the less you select, the more results you receive. For example, of course, I can run a report on a specific asset or location by clicking on the name, but the less I filter, the larger my results. In this example, I've simply selected Show Graphs and approximately a 6-month time frame on when the work order was completed. Click the Generate Report icon in the top right corner, and it'll open up a new window with your results. Notice my graphs will compare preventative maintenance work orders to demands and multiple other graphs of information. The equipment one will quickly display which assets have multiple demand work orders. In this case, I can see that I have 9 unexpected tickets. This easily allows you to determine if it's time to repair or replace. Towards the bottom of the report, you'll then get tables of information. Each table you can copy or extract in different file types. Notice that there's also a keyword search. So if I have a complete list of all my work orders, but I'm really looking for tickets that are associated to a particular word, say in the name, I can add my information here. The first table will give you ticket information and the details in each work order. Again, the amount of information you receive in your reports is based on the info you've added to the work order, such as did you keep track of parts or add invoice information. Additional tables of information that you'll receive are summary tables with comparisons and percentages, costs associated to the work orders, again in that time frame that I selected, resource information, any company that you associated to your tickets or outside vendors, and an equipment table. At the very bottom of the report, you have a print page button that allows you to print the whole report. When a user logs in, the panels displayed or that are available might vary. This is based on the access given to a user or the user permissions. System admins or facility admins typically will have access to adjust user permissions. When I click on the users panel, it will show me a complete list of any user in my system. I can simply click on the key icon next to the name to open up that user's permission form. System admins will have access and be able to apply user permissions to 3 different pages. Enterprise page means more top-level permission settings. For example, the enterprise admin panels are more top-level decisions about the system, but perhaps you have a user that you'd like them to create work order templates. Facility admin, that applies to which facility is associated to the user when they log in. And when they drill down to that facility level, what can they do with the information stored? Or can they add information or edit? The Facility General page contains more overall settings, the ability to log in or run reports. With the reports permission selected, it displays the reports panel on the left-hand side. To run reports on open work orders, closed, inventory, or in this case, depreciation reports. Should this user be able to log in and create a demand work order or document anything that's unscheduled? Likewise, can they view all tickets in the selected facilities, modify, or close? Any user that is a resource or maintenance tech, make sure they have the work order resource permission. That means you can associate that maintenance technician to any work order. If you'd like your resource to receive an email when their name is associated to a ticket, we suggest this email notification here. Once you're happy with the user permission settings, don't forget to hit save and it will automatically close the window. If there are any editing or adjustments to the details in this row, click the edit button next to the user's name. For example, you might want to add the email address to this user so that they'll receive the email notifications you selected in their permission settings. Once finished, don't forget to hit the Save button at the bottom of the window. To add a user, simply click on the Add icon in the top right corner. And like always, to close a window or grid, click on the X button. So remember, Enterprise Admin, work order templates. If you see this panel here, that means that you have permission to go ahead and add new templates by clicking on the plus button in the top right corner. We'll create a template from scratch, or you can duplicate an existing one because maybe you want to change some details to that template. Once I hit OK, I'll add the name, associate the type, add the description, and then any other optional columns towards the right. Once you hit Save, that means that you can access the scheduled work order template in any of your facilities or use it multiple times. Drill down to the facility level, Facility Admin, click on the Scheduled Work Order panel, and then remember, when I click on the plus button, I can create my PM from scratch, which I previously showed you, or select a template. If I select the template, that means the majority of my information will appear at the top row. I just need to add the details. For example, associate the equipment that's in this facility. You can click on the Save icon in the top right corner or click in any of the other fields to add additional details to your PM. When you click the X icon in the top right, you'll arrive back at your main facility screen. One of the other main panels that you have to the system is the Support and Feedback panel. When you click on Support and Feedback, click on the Help Center panel to access our complete library of guides and videos. For example, use our keyword search and enter information you're looking for, such as meter-based PMs. Hit the search icon and click on the guide name to get to the details. If you have any questions, keep an eye out for the conversation window icon. This allows you to send us a message right while you're using the system. You can also record your screen so we can better understand any questions or feedback you may have. We'll respond to you right while you're in the system, or we'll send you an email. Thank you for attending the Hippo CMMS Express Training 2.